Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Sipping on No Common Sense. This is your creator and host, Tiffany. I hope everybody's having a great week so far. It's pretty warm. It's about to get real hot again. I'm ready for the fall already. No? You're not ready for the fall?
No.
You love the heat?
I'm tropical.
Okay. I'm not. I like the hoodie. So how you guys doing?
We're great.
Good. So I have these two beautiful ladies here with me tonight, two professional lawyers that work in the downtown Waukegan area, Renee and Latanya. I'm sorry, apologies.
Tanya.
So how you guys been doing? How's everything been going with you guys?
We're good.
Good.
It's good. We're busy.
Mm-hmm.
Just grinding it out.
It's
true.
So tell me tell a little bit about yourselves, the people that may not know you at all, and introduce yourself to the people.
Okay. Well, I'm Latanya Burton. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for about 15 years, predominantly focusing on criminal defense. And now we're venturing into family law, with an emphasis on father's rights.
Oh, cool.
I'm a mom, I'm a wife.
Okay.
I have 3 sons.
Oh, awesome.
And
Loud house. Huh?
Yes, it was. So, but that's pretty much who I am.
Oh, okay. What about you?
I'm Renee Amin. I've been practicing law for about maybe 3 years now.
Oh, okay.
Like Latanya said, we do criminal defense.
Okay.
We work all over. We work in Lake County, Cook, McHenry, Kane, DuPage, Will. Anywhere there's a need,
Oh, right.
we go there. I'm married.
Okay.
I have 4 children.
Okay.
In ages from 22 down to 11.
No way. You look so young. Both of you guys do. I'm like, you got the lawyer. This gotta be a friend. So, law. Why do you guys choose law? Why was that you guys' decision? I'm sure you guys could have ventured to something else, but why law? Why was that so important to dip into?
You want to go first? Sure. When I was 7, I was on the south side of Chicago at my grandmother's house, and we were all playing. And this mailman tapped me on the head and he said, "Hey, little girl, what are you going to do when you grow up?" And I heard a voice say, "I'm going to be a lawyer." So I said, "I'm going to be a lawyer."
Right.
And everyone looked at me as if I was foreign or said
Right.
something from a different planet. And just throughout the course of my life, God pointed me into the direction of law. So I didn't know any lawyers growing up. One of the churches that I attended when I was younger, there were 2 lawyers there, and one of them became a mentor to me. Her name is Yvonne Spradley LeBron. And I didn't know much about what she did. I just knew the character of her, because I only knew her from church. But then along the way, I just kept being pointed into the direction of law. In high school, I was on the mock trial team. I think we won 2nd in the state.
Okay.
And then the teachers they saw interest in me, and they thought that I would do well in law, and they would give me tidbits. And then I went to college at DePaul.
Okay.
There once I did political science and sociology because I love people and I love the study of people. Interestingly, my counselor told me, because I think I had a B average. I worked 2 jobs to put myself through college. And she said to me, when I told her I was going to be a lawyer, she said, "Oh, you can't be a lawyer. You're just the average B student." And I said, "Oh." And went to law school, and here I am. For me, I always knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. I didn't want to go to college.
Right.
I think I wanted to do it like they did it way back in the day and just say, "I'm a lawyer." Right. So I did everything but go to college. I went to the Navy. And then I got out, and that's how I ended up here. Because Great Lakes was my last duty station. So I sold real estate. Then I went and worked in the jail. After the jail, I went back as a civilian to the Navy base. I just didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot.
It's a lot. People,
especially a lawyer. Yeah.
People think, well, it's just school. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So what I did was, as I was working on the Navy base, I had a girlfriend, and And she said, I hate this job, you know. And she would say to me, well, if you hate this job and you think you're smarter than the people who are in charge, then you gotta go back to school. And I was like, okay. And so one day I went back to school. I went to Columbia out in Gurnee, to the branch campus. And I kept saying I'm going to be a lawyer, but I didn't know still that, you know, you have to take LSAT and do all these other things. And after I graduated, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get in. And I did. And so I just went to law school and here I am.
So why are you guys' own firm? Because it seems like you women are very intelligent, as far as I can see. You probably can get into any firm. So why start your own firm? Wouldn't that be pretty hard to do, or a headache to do a little bit?
Renee is a natural business mind. She's just, it's one of the gifts I believe God has given her. It comes natural, like drinking water. She's just amazing with business.
So much faith in
It's just the truth. But when we worked I used to work at the public defender's office in Lake County. I think I was there for about 8 years. And her husband worked at the jail. And when he would bring clients up, one day he said, you know, my wife wants to be an attorney, Ms. Burton, could you help her? I said, oh, absolutely. Where is she? How can I get to her? How quickly? Because I truly believe in empowering women, particularly women of African descent. So I would run to anyone who wants to go into the field of law. We need women. So I said, give her my information, tell her immediately. So it took me a little time for her to call, and she'll have to tell her story if she feels late. And when she got ready to go to law school, she called me, and she was having a difficult time because she had to leave her children. And I did the same thing. I went to law school as a wife. I had my oldest son was probably around 9 or 10, and I had just got married and then immediately got pregnant and a premature baby. So while I was in law school, I had a lot on my plate, and it was the same way for her. So I was able to, you know, say, look, sister, you could do this. I did it. This is how you do it. Call me. If we could cry together, you're stressed, just call me. I'm always here for you. And throughout her going to law school and me working, we would always touch bases. We would see each other in odd places. And then one day when she was almost finished with law school, she met me and said, you know, the employer we used to work with wants you to come and work with him. So we started working together, and we did a great job. We worked very hard, but we knew that we wanted to do things a different way, and the way that we wanted to do them. And we wanted to emphasize the things that were important to us. So Renee said, LaTanya, we could do this. And I said, well, if you said we could do it, we could do it. And we did it. So Bur-Men was birthed.
Oh, wow.
It was.
Why is ownership important to you guys? Is that important?
It is.
Or is that?
It is important. Ownership, not only for money. Ownership is important because it makes you feel a part of something. You can see that there is something greater than you. And we get to choose the type of cases we want. We don't have to take a case if we don't believe in it. We don't have to take a case simply because someone else says you have to. And we get to be a beacon in our community, meaning that we want to be able to show African Americans, young girls, women, and just people in general that you can do it. You don't have to be under someone else's thumb all the time. You can make moves, and you won't necessarily start off making $1 million. But one of the things my husband told me when LaTanya and I were getting ready to start our own businesses, I said, what if we don't make any money? He said, what if you only, I said, what if I only make $50,000? That's not enough. And he said, what if you make only $50,000 on your own terms? So it's the joy.
That's powerful. I ain't never heard it that way.
It's the joy that
shout out to Boo. Sir, okay.
It's the joy that you get from being able to walk in the door. Every day we walk in the door, I'm happy. And we're responsible for staff and making sure they're happy.
Right.
So for me, ownership is about way more than money. It's a legacy that we get to leave behind in our community and with our families.
That's right.
I agree with Renee. Like I told you, she's really good mine.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was important to have staff to employ others. We're in a situation or society, with layoffs and things of that nature. I thought we owed the community to be able to empower it, and there's no better way to do that than putting wealth creation in someone else's hand and allowing someone else to make a living. And then also that's an opportunity for mentorship because for example, one of our staff members is about to go to law school.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Before she did that, she wasn't in law school, and I believe that we mentored her and showed her by example, you can do this because we've done it.
Right.
So that was important to us as well.
What was the hardest thing you guys faced, like in the beginning? Because I know it's like tough times. Like being a lawyer is like tough. Like you see so many things or hear so many things and stories. What was the hardest thing for you to?
It's not the cases.
Okay.
It's not the clients, believe it or not. Clients walk in our doors, I'm never afraid of them. I feel like when they walk in, actually when you come into our office, it doesn't look like any other law office in Lake County.
Oh, okay. Got popped.
My girlfriend told me it looked like a spa.
Okay.
We wanted to be girly and we wanted to be relaxing because when people walk through the door, they're in crisis.
Yeah.
So we want them to feel as if here you can be okay.
Okay.
But I think one of the hardest things is getting the respect that you are due and that you're owed. Meaning, you don't have to respect me because I'm a lawyer.
Right.
You have to respect me because I'm a person.
Right.
Because I'm a woman. So LaTanya and I will go into courtrooms and we've been told you can't sit here because they think we're the defendants. Or judges who may look at us and not think we're capable. Now, it doesn't happen in Lake County because they know us.
Right.
But we go to other counties and they don't know until we start to talk. So it's constantly proving yourself. And that can be hard to deal with. Yeah. But it's not about us.
Is that frustrating though? Like as far
it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Because I always say I'm as educated as that judge on the bench. And not only that, but what about me or LaTanya looks so different that you automatically assume that we're the defendant? Right. What sticks out about us that you think we're not capable? But they soon learn. Yeah. We're very, I bet. Very capable.
I like to be in the courtroom and see that.
What do you think is hard?
Like power women.
I also, as defense attorneys, when speaking about criminal cases, we understand our clients' lives. We don't just see this one incident that has or may have not occurred. We know the whole background. Where usually our opposing counsel in criminal defense and criminal cases would be the state's attorney. They only see this one incident, but they don't see what led up to this incident. And trying to get them to understand this is a good person that may have done a bad thing. Right. That does not mean this is a bad person that should be cast away. And constantly proving that in this system is difficult and it can be frustrating because I see people and Renee see people as human beings. Right. Whether you did something wrong or not does not mean you get to be thrown out and you're worthless. Right. And the fact that you have to make that argument is very disheartening to me because I would think everyone knows we all are human beings. We all make mistakes and judge the person not because of the mistake, but because of the potential.
Right, right. Y'all taking it to church?
Yes, we do.
So you guys is a law firm focuses on criminal defense, civil rights, and family law.
Yes.
Why those 3 areas?
Well, they intermingle. As far as
Okay.
civil rights,
Yeah.
if a state actor, police officer, jail, things like that, if they infringe on the rights of someone, those are the type of civil rights.
Okay.
They're called Section 1983 actions. Those are what we fight for. So it sort of parlays into criminal defense.
Right.
Because it kind of goes together a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
As far as family law, Renee and I, we have great husbands who are incredible fathers.
Yeah.
And it stuns us when you go into a court in a divorce proceedings that the mother is assumed to be the better parent, just automatically.
Yeah.
And first of all, that's totally against the law. Secondly, it's just, it doesn't make sense. You need to, once again, see that person and view them and have what's in the best interest of the child and look into both of their backgrounds to make that determination. So we come against the system and just believing that, the status quo, just give the child to the mother. We've even had an incident where a judge almost went against its own order to give a kid to a mother when the order said give it to the father. And to have the argument about that is incredible. So
that's crazy.
People, especially people in our community, to know that there are people who look like you, who understand what you're going through, who will fight for you. A lot of times, we don't know until you're in a situation.
Right.
You don't know what's happening with the law. You don't keep, unless you're a lawyer, you don't keep up with the statutes that's changing every day, and how to interact with the police and all of these different things. And in civil rights actions, especially in the times where our boys and men are being murdered and killed, in the streets by the hands of people who, are supposed to be serving and protecting. And just through gang violence and things like that, they don't know, maybe I should shut up and stop talking. Or maybe I should just, stand here with my hands up, even though maybe someone else doesn't have to do it. That's what we have to do. We know that we're different. But ultimately, those 3 areas of the law, I want people in our community to know there are people here who will fight for you, who understand you. We understand our community because LaTanya and I have lived in the community. I didn't grow up in the Waukegan area, but I grew up in Peekskill, New York. Looks very similar to Waukegan. LaTanya grew up in Chicago, and so we know. You can go hire somebody who's lived in Lake Forest all their life. They don't know your struggle like we do. Absolutely. So we want people to know we will fight for you because we understand. So that's why those 3 areas of the law are important.
Do you guys get the stigma against you guys? Because, mostly people pick the white person instead of the black person. Because they feel, the white person probably get me off than the black lawyer. Do you guys feel that, or they know already?
But I think now, and Renee, please chime in, we're fighters. I don't know how to put it. We're not afraid. We're bold. We respect everyone, but we don't mind standing up to you at any time. And I believe that people are seeing that about us, so we don't. Lately, we don't seem to have that problem.
I mean, probably in the beginning.
In the beginning, maybe. But
now, I think we have proven ourselves. We probably will continue to prove ourselves a little bit, but I think people who know us know who we are, know what we stand for. So
I get that vibe. I like it a lot. As far as law, do you believe the law is for us or against us? Because you hear that saying a lot now lately.
Well, because I hear you think
Go as long as you want to. I don't care.
The system that we're fighting in the areas of laws that we practice,
Right.
mainly criminal defense, because that's the bulk of our work.
You're right.
What people need to understand is criminal defense attorneys, we're fighting laws that were not created to help you. They were created to incarcerate you. They were created to catch you up. And then our job is to go in and find a different interpretation or to be a little creative. It requires us to be a negotiator, a counselor. Sometimes it requires one of us to be salty and one to be sweet. But it requires a lot because those laws are not made. When they make a statute, and then they make a sentence to follow that statute. So if you are going 26 over the speed limit, it's a misdemeanor. And the sentence for that misdemeanor is 364 days in the county jail or whatever. They make that sentence with the idea of holding you to that. So it's not only not made for us, it's not made for anybody who, whether they make a mistake or they break the law, it's not made for it.
I agree. Particularly, as you said, in the areas that we practice. For example, accountability. Renee and I go into a candy store and we make the plan, we're gonna steal the candy. Unbeknownst to me or to Renee, one of us have a gun. We struggle with someone, they get shot. Both of us are going to be charged with murder under accountability. Well, what person would have thought that Renee would have thought I had a gun and that it would have turned into that? All I wanted was a candy bar. And now I'm being charged with murder. So those laws they're not created for us. They're not created for people who have to make a living. You have a DUI in 2000, but because you did not have the money to pay the reinstatement fee, your license is suspended. If you never get the license, pay the reinstatement fee and all of that, any driving on license suspended or revoked ticket you get is based on the DUI. There are mandatory minimum sentencing. So for example, after your, I think, fourth one is a automatic 180 days in jail. Now, here's a person, I had the DUI in 2000. I don't have the money to do the reinstatement fee. I haven't drank since 2000, but I need to get back and forth to work. Public transportation around this area isn't as strong as in Chicago. So most people have to drive to work. Well, the officer stops you, see that you're on your third or fourth ticket. Now these mandatory minimums apply. I didn't drink this time. That was 19 years ago. But because I didn't have the money to pay a reinstatement fee, I'm still paying for that crime as if I was drinking in the car today. That's not for us. That's not for the person that has to first worry about putting food on the table, paying for a mortgage, and not paying for a reinstatement fee when I don't drive anymore, when I don't drink anymore. So those are very disheartening. Those laws are very disheartening, and we need to change them.
Absolutely, I think so too. But that's a lot. It's meant to trap us sometimes. I believe that. So because I have some people that's been in prison and stuff like that, and when they get out, and then
who goes to prison start driving? No one's dead, no one's hurt. I just drove to try to get to work.
Or federal prison. You can go to prison for life for drugs. No one died. Everybody's alive. But you sold some drugs. And LaTanya and I always used the candy store hypothetical. And I don't know if, because we do these little video blogs for people to try to educate them. And I don't know if people are not listening or they're not looking at them. And I'm always confused because I'm like, it says it got 7,000 views, but people keep talking. And I just don't understand. So we use the candy hypothetical with she and I, but let me make it more real. What if you have a brother and a sister who went to the store with their two best friends, and one of the best friends said, you know what, I'm gonna go rob that guy. And your brother's like, nah, I don't watch that, and just walks away. And then before he can leave, the other guy shoots someone. your brother now has some issues.
Right.
See, people don't understand it when we say me and LaTanya. I don't know why, because I'm like, we're giving you the hypothetical. But think about if it's your kid.
Right.
If it's your family.
Yeah.
And you don't even understand what accountability is, because you're saying, my boy is a good boy. He never been in trouble. He's an A student.
Yeah.
He was just hanging out with the wrong person. You're telling me that now he's looking at maybe 75 years in jail?
Yeah.
Or in prison?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
And he may have not known that was the wrong person at the time.
Right.
Once again, sometimes people make impulse decisions
Yeah.
or judgments that you're not used to this person doing this before, so you didn't have any inkling that this person was capable of that.
Right.
And even if we're able to get the state's attorney to drop the charges at some point, the system, the process, bond court, posting a bond to get out, if you can afford the bond to get out, while you're fighting a case, losing your job, or school, and all of these things, all hiring an attorney, all of these things are difficult, and that's why so many people plead guilty, because they can't afford the process of proving their innocence. In this system, even though you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, in actuality, in practice, and I can say this with no problem at all, you're really guilty trying to prove your innocence, and it's totally contradictory of our Constitution.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's sad though.
It is.
Especially with people of color,
Yes.
minority period.
Yes.
You go through that.
Yes.
Period. So, have you guys seen that movie, When They See Us? Have you ever had that?
I will not watch it.
I saw the documentary
before
years ago. Renee and I both teach as well, and for a class, I showed them that I have to constantly remind myself that there are good police officers.
Yeah.
I constantly have to tell myself that I cannot treat them all the same. And that's why I get so angry about bad police officers, because you make me look at everyone that way. But I know for a fact there are very good law enforcement.
Oh yeah, of course.
But the bad ones are almost outshining the good ones. And it just upsets me. So I can't watch movies like that. Because one, it angers me too much. And two, we live that every day. You know, I have to be able to decompress. So I can't have that always shown to me.
Well, it made me upset with just watching it. How does that happen? How does it happen? Like, how is that capable? You have no evidence, but you're still able to put these kids in jail.
Let me tell you how it happens. I'm gonna give you an example. A guy says to me, I had sex with a girl. This is not a client, it's just a friend. I had sex with a girl. It was consensual. We agreed. I'm like, okay, cool. But she's now saying I raped her. Okay, fine. They're gonna come and talk to you. When they do, you should get a lawyer. Right? I need you to say clearly, I want my lawyer. Don't say, you think I need a lawyer? Maybe I need a lawyer. You have to unequivocally and clearly say, I want a lawyer. He says, okay, I got it. About a year goes by. The police says, hey, I want you to come in. What should he have said?
I want to lawyer.
He said, I'm coming. Right? He gets down there and they're like, hey, you want some water? And he's like, yeah, I do want some water. And they're like, I know you're a good guy. I seen you around. You don't get into trouble. Just tell us what happened. Because I don't even believe her. Now they got you on your side. And he started talking. And they said, okay. 2 days later, they arrested him for rape.
Oh, wow.
So, or criminal sex assault. So, that's how things like that happen. Because people, especially black parents, we say, because we have grown up believing in authority. And, you know, and what do you always hear us say? Tell them the truth. Just tell them what happened. No, you can't do that. Because they twist every single word that you say. Even in a traffic stop. You know, things like that. It's a movie on TV, but believe me, it happens every single day. And it happens here in Lake County, in Cook County. It happens all over. We just represented someone who went through the same issue. He's out now, but it's just 5 years of this man's life was gone. 5
Wow.
years. And the police knew that he did nothing wrong. So it happens all the time. And I just don't understand why people don't believe us when we say shut up.
Right.
Or I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't outsmart the police.
Yeah.
They do this all day long. This is their job. Some of them have been doing interrogations for many, many years. And people think either they really want to help me, they're my friend.
Right.
And we try to teach them, they have this technique called the read technique, where there's a good police officer and a bad police officer. You have this one officer in your face yelling and all that. And then the good ones, don't mind him, but you can talk to us.
Right.
They're playing psychological games on you to make you speak. They keep you in there they can keep you up, I believe, up to 48 hours, but they keep you in there in a small room. Everything's done for a psychological reason.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly, to get you to confess to something.
Right.
Because their job is they want to get a conviction. They don't want the public to believe that it's unsafe around here. So the quicker they can get someone arrested, they can put the public at ease. The mayor's happy, the chief is okay. So it's a whole political system, but at the cost of a person. And they rather roll the dice and let the court figure out who's innocent or not. They just gave you a person. Not understanding the process. Someone has lost their job.
Right.
Someone may have lost their grant, Section 8, whatever the situation may be, their family is in peril because they have to go through this process. Because you just roll the dice and say, oh, the court can handle it. Let them sort it out. Instead of you doing good work at the beginning and trying to understand what occurred instead of trying to find someone to convict.
Is it one of the reasons that our people is afraid to ask for a lawyer and stuff like that? Is it fear if they do get in trouble? Because in the film, it felt like the boys feared. I'm gonna say whatever I gotta say and I'm gonna go home. But you only went home for a little bit and you end up in
If
prison
you go
for-
home.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of fear, and it's also a lack of knowledge and knowing that you have that right that you can assert and how to assert it. Like I said, you can't say, you think I need a lawyer?
Yeah.
Maybe I should call a lawyer. You have to say, I want a lawyer.
Right.
That doesn't mean being belligerent. That does not mean being nasty. You know, even a simple traffic stop, when you get pulled over and the cop starts asking you a bunch of questions, you don't have to answer all of those questions. You can say, this is my name, give me your driver's license, keep your hands on the wheel, you know. But we have to learn how to interact with police officers. But now, and that's why I was telling you, and I try to educate when we go to schools and try to educate kids because people are so afraid that not only will they not ask for a lawyer, but you're so scared they end up acting out and we have some other consequences of that. So we just gotta have more education.
Is the money enough for the apology for serving their term? Because it seems like they got like 40-something million for.
No.
Should they get more?
You have
Not for money, but something else. So.
I don't know. There was a slogan downtown in Chicago many years ago that says, to say time is money is an insult to time. How do you pay for someone's time? How do you compensate someone for years missed watching their children grow? So I believe some of their parents died while they were in prison. How do you pay to get that back? There is not a sum of money that you can give a person who's gone through that to bring them back whole. I think it should be punitive why they get as much money, whatever that situation is. They definitely should get money, but there's so much more. Make the officers, if they are still employed, go to training. We need sensitivity training. We need truthful interrogation. It should not be me against them or them against us. It's us against the crime, us against this situation, and how can we stop this situation from occurring again? Not just trying to get a person locked up. First of all, find the right person. Find out what actually occurred. So, you know, it's insulting. It's insulting to think you throw some money at them and everything's okay. Furthermore, you have to give people who have not had $40 million training. Do they know how to handle money?
Right.
They need financial literacy.
Yeah.
So don't just give them money, give them education as well with that, and
Right.
opportunities, and how to invest the money. So it's a myriad of things that need to go into that instead
Right.
of just throwing money at people.
Yeah, that's true. I don't say that. On the other side, you see a lot of these cops are killing us for no reason and getting off. All the words they have to say, I was afraid for my life for them to get off. How is that? A cop getting off and you have a video footage. And you still get off. Is that tough for you guys? I know it's hard, but it's like, wow, like there's a video camera and you
Here's
still.
the thing. Context is important. Meaning, oftentimes when we see a video, we don't know what happened before, and most of the time we don't know what happened after.
Right. That's true.
So we know that.
Right.
But here's what I do know. You can't tell me every black male that you come across you're afraid of.
Right.
If you're afraid of every black man,
Yeah.
you ought not be working that job.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, like I am on the school board in Gurney, and we did we're doing some inclusivity and diversity training.
Okay. I went to Gurney.
And did you?
Yes,
Are
I
you
did.
doing Woodland?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So I stood up and I said to them, not as a board member, not as a lawyer, as a mom. I have 4 kids, 2 boys. My 14-year-old is tall, but he's meek and mild.
Yeah.
But he wears a hood.
Yeah.
He is, has a deep voice, but he would give you the shirt off his back. But I'm afraid to let my son walk to school.
Yeah.
And it's less than a mile. And he
Yeah.
wants to walk with his friends, and I have to explain to him, you cannot.
Right.
Because I don't know if the police stops them, how he'll react to you.
Right. That's true.
I ought not have to tell that to my son. First
Right.
of all, I'm a taxpaying citizen.
Right.
My son has not committed a crime.
Right.
But just because he's black, you may say, I'm afraid, and you may take his life.
Yeah.
And we're kind of, black mothers are kind of having to have these conversations with our husbands and our sons to say, please be meek and mild.
Yeah.
Please be mild-mannered.
Yeah.
Don't raise your voice. You
Yeah.
know, we can't even have our kids show emotion because the cop who says I'm scared
Yeah.
may kill him. It makes me sick
Yeah.
to my stomach.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know what we can do,
Yeah.
but I know one thing. We got to do it quick.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because there is going to be an uprising if we don't make some changes in our community. Because people are too afraid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even let my son take out the garbage at night to
Yeah.
the street without me standing there watching.
Yeah.
Why do we have to live like that?
Right. Yeah.
Just
Just double work
why
to
do we
watch
have to
the
live
kids.
that way?
Yeah.
If my son called and said, the principal wants to talk to me, I immediately go, because I'm like, I gotta go and make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
And that's just the principle.
Yeah.
But anybody in this day and age can say, I was afraid. And they're always afraid of black boys,
Yeah.
black men.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can go off about it.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Me too.
You know.
I just want to get a lawyer perspective because we don't have law. I mean, it's a quick conversation, but we don't have dialogue about the situation with people that's dealing with law every day. That's their daily job.
We need more community policing.
We do.
And, and I just saw that the new mayor in Chicago, Mayor Lightfoot, is starting to, she's hired all these new officers and she is making them do community patrol. We need that here.
Yeah.
Because if the cop knows who you are, my kids, we went to Louisiana to go visit my mother. And this was around Christmas time one year, about 3 years ago. And the cop rode up in his cop car and he was giving the kids candy.
Oh, okay.
And all the kids in the neighborhood knew the cop and they all went over to the car.
Oh, okay.
And my son and my daughter stepped back.
Yeah.
And he said, here you go, you can have some candy, come get some. And my kids stepped back further. And my mother said, it's okay, go get some, go get some. And my son looked at me and my daughter looked at me. And I had to say, it's okay.
Right. Because
they live in a small town,
like
Mayberry.
Oh, yeah.
It's like one store, you know. The cop knows everybody, knows all the children. But because my son just sees police, and I live here in Illinois, I'm like,
right.
We don't get it from the cops, none of that. And so he backed up. And just the difference in, you know, where we live and their backgrounds, it made me go,
and it's sad that we have to take that approach. Now I have to bring some positive.
Yeah, because you got 4 boys, right?
I have 3 boys.
Oh, 3 boys, I'm sorry.
Boys.
Yeah.
But this morning my husband was showing me on Facebook, our youth group at church went to summer camp. On the way back, the bus broke down. And the bus company said it would take 2 hours for them to come and bring a replacement. It was very hot here on this bus. Well, what occurred was, and I think this was in McLean County, I want to give the right help to the right agency, but they came, they delivered the kids in squad cars to a community center that was air conditioned, and the police chief bought them all pizza and drinks, and they played board games and everything. So this is what I say about why I don't like when bad cops do it, because you have to I have to think about the good ones and spotlight, because we can talk about all the bad things they do, but there are some great police officers like the ones in County as well, and we need those officers to step up when they see the bad officer do things and say, not here, and come against them. But the way their culture is, it appears to me that they're almost bullied into just acquiescing to what the wrong police officer is doing. And we need probably better organizations to support the good officers when these wrong officers start even bullying them.
Right. Yeah. Just like the recent case, I forgot his name, McDonald. Yeah, and they tried to hide it so much, you know, until the video come out. It's just, I was like, wow, like, you guys didn't tell this dude he was wrong. He had many issues beforehand, before this even happened. You guys never said anything.
They probably have.
Yeah.
And they probably were bullied or probably silenced.
You gotta think. If you tell on your partner, that's the person who has to come and save you.
Right.
So when I used to work in a jail, you wanted to treat all of your comrades with respect and get along with them, because at the end of the day, if the inmates decided to riot on me, I need these people to come and save me. So it's, you know, we don't know what they're thinking and what their train of thought is and what makes them do what they do. I can say this though, maybe they are afraid sometimes because everybody got a gun.
Right.
I mean, where you get guns from? You know,
true.
and you think about it. Because I'll never say I don't like the police, because that's just not true.
Right.
But here's what I know. They want to go home to their families just like I want my son to come home.
Right.
We need gun control, because I don't know. Sometimes we had a case where they looked into a dumpster. They were looking for one gun from a client, and they found 3 guns.
Oh, wow.
Guns that they weren't even looking for. So it's too many guns. You know, and so cops, you know, they got a lot that they're dealing with too. But here in Lake County, we do have some good ones. You know, the sheriff's department has some good ones. Waukegan has some. Gurney has some good ones. They're not all bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 'cause my nephew, he's about to be a cop. And I'm very afraid for him, but that's something he always wanted to do.
And maybe he can make a change.
Oh yeah, of course, because he got a good heart.
Yeah. Johnny Cochran's son is a police officer.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's
he
cool.
was, I don't know now. But I read his books. His son is a police officer, so.
Oh, okay, that's dope. I never knew that. And they don't talk about his kids too much. They leave him out of the courtroom. So how do we educate the people around this area?
We educate by what you're doing right now. you know, getting it out to the viewers, having people watch, because I've been watching some of your podcasts.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
That's why I reached out to
Yeah.
you, because, you know, you have a lot of good stuff on there. Latanya and I go to different schools if someone asks. We did a thing with, I forgot the sorority.
Oh, okay.
The Zetas.
Oh, okay.
These are
Sigma Gamma Rho.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
we brought them into the jail. We showed them the court system.
Yeah.
We brought them in our office and taught them, you know, how to interact with police. We just have to keep getting out there. But Tanya and I are just two people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we need more leadership in the community. Leadership that's going to be real leadership and not go out and act fool on Facebook.
Yeah. Of course.
Real leadership in the community. And, you know, as for us, we'll certainly do our part. We're here.
Right.
You know, all you gotta do is ask us. We've never turned anyone down who's asked. So
I might meet you, Charlie. I got a few tickets against don't sweat. I'm always speaking.
But also policing, like Renee said, community policing, I know for a fact if we could see more police officers walking a beat like they used to do, so that we can know each other and they can know, so they know that, oh, this kid, you know, he's very emotional, but the sweetest person in the world. He gets excited when he's nervous, but he's not doing something wrong. That's just his character. When you get to know the people that you're working with and for, because we're all taxpayers. Taxpayers pay their salaries, so you're working for them as well.
Right.
I think it bridges that gap, and that fear begins to go down because you know the person you're interacting with.
Do you think their qualifications need to be stronger?
Yes. The fact that they don't know how to interact with people with mental illness is sickening to me. So that they need stronger training. We need to give them more money and more opportunities and more training so that they can interact properly with the public.
Should the kids visit the jails to give them some insight? Because I know when I was taking the class, I was actually brought down to this jail, and from what I saw, it was horrible. Like I would never, I'll double take before I get in, try to or do anything. I think about that before I do anything.
And let me tell you, Lake County is one of the cleanest jails, one of the safest jails. I mean, that's as safe as you'd be in jail. Cook County, you would be scared. You would be afraid. I've gone in jails that are filthy, dirty. I don't know if children should. I don't know. But I do believe. Well, and I was going to say, we took those young ladies. We took them in groups, and it's something about when you hear that door slam. You know you can't come out until someone else opens the door. You can't pick it. You can't kick it open. You can't do anything. It's there. And so a lot of times when they hear that door, they're like, you don't want to come back here. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they should.
I think I think each child is different.
Right.
Respond. I'm not big on scaring someone.
Not scaring, but just
because that's what the jail does too. But Renee makes the best. But her children, she told her sons, you know, about having children early. And she laid out some candy, and she said, you like this candy, right? And now they said, yeah. And she would put it down and say, now you see, you want to have all 10 of these nowadays for yourself, right? Oh, yeah. He said, well, if you have a child before you're financially ready or before you met the right woman and all of that, the person, whoever you want to start a family with, you see these 10 nowadays, I'm going to take 9 of them, and they're going to go to raising that child, one woman providing a family. And you might get that one, oh, don't forget taxes, so I'm going to cut half of that one. So you know how you love having all those now ladies? Wait until you're financially ready before you start having children. So that's not scaring them. That's explaining and showing them the difference in the freedom you have now and what you may not have if you're not ready at the time to have a family. So there are other ways, and I think every child, like my 3 sons learn things very differently.
Right.
You know,
That
one
would
of
terrorize them.
exactly.
I couldn't even imagine.
Wait a minute, we ain't taking my dollars for it.
Right.
But you know, you just have to do, for each child they learn differently.
And one of the things too, I tell my kids is, you like name brands, right? You like Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
In
Right.
jail, you don't get Fruit Loops. You
Right.
get Rings.
Right. And they're black.
Right.
They used to be white.
You don't get a Coca-Cola in jail.
No, you don't.
You get some hot water and,
Sugar water.
Right. If you like it, you can get a sugar packet.
Right.
In Lake County, it might be contraband.
Mm-hmm.
And you like the fact that you can just go to the Walgreens whenever because my kids love Walgreens.
Oh, okay.
So you like
Little shoppers.
If they get $5, they're gonna go to Walgreens. And I'm like, you can go to Walgreens. In jail, you can't go anywhere, but they wrong. That's if the officer tells you. So I try to talk to them in ways that they can make sound decisions and teach them. Don't be impulsive. And one of the things I tell my kids is, your gut will give you a feeling. And you might not know what that feeling is, but your stomach feels different. That's your intuition. Follow it. Follow it. If your friends are doing something and you know it's wrong,
walk away.
You walk away. Or you can say, you know what? My mom's crazy. I can't be with you because she's crazy. I don't have to deal with her. Blame it on me. Do whatever you got to do to walk away from the situation.
Right.
And so I would hope that they would follow that and not have to go into the jail because I don't know what I would do.
What should we do differently with our black boys? Because it seems like the families are more aggressive towards the black boys.
Let
Like
me
how
just
they
say, you're
should
coming for us with these questions.
Because I have nephews. I treated them. I've seen personally in my family, you're supposed to be like this, be this way. No way. But when my nephews came, when my sister started having children, I treated them different. Express yourself, but express yourself calmly. Right. It's okay to be angry. It's okay if I give you a hug. It's okay if I tell you you're handsome. Don't let nobody tell you different. You can do this if you want to do this. I just try to change the language starting with me because I didn't hear that coming up. So I just try to make a difference in their lives because the men in our family, either you were in jail or you weren't in the family at all. So I try to make a difference doing that way. So what's your take of being different for your boys?
Well, my husband, he is such a great father. I look at him and his relationship with all 3 of our sons, and it's just something to marvel. So I really have to give him a lot of credit because he believes he gives them their identity. He sees them and he helps guide them to where they're supposed to be. I am very, just me personally, I am very free. When I was younger, we were able to get on the bus and go anywhere in the city of Chicago. And what helped me, it made me become bolder, and I'm just not afraid of many things.
Right.
And I want my children to grow that way. So, but I also believe in knowing each of their personalities.
Right.
My oldest son, he's militant. He's a little like me in that way. He's like, nope, it's going to be this or that. My middle son is just, he just loves the world. It's just wonderful. My youngest son, I promise you, I had him in Lake County, but I think he's from the south side of Chicago. He doesn't play. He doesn't take anything. He is the man of the house. So, I play on all of their personalities, not downing any of them, celebrating them as who they are. But I give them real life situations. I come home with anecdotes of what happened, and I quiz them like, what do you think you would do in that situation? And they're not afraid to, and I let them tell me anything. We have a serious open door policy. Most people would be cringe at some of the things my children tell me because we're very open, but I always want them to know you can always come to me. I deal with murders, people rape kids and all of this. So
Yeah.
this is nothing for me. It's nothing you can tell me that will make me love you any differently. I may be disappointed in some of your decisions, but I still love you the same, and we can work through it. So I think giving people that type of confidence and that type of love and unconditional acceptance lets them be free to do and make the right decisions.
I think what we can do is differently is basically what LaTanya said. I grew up, so I lived in the South for a while, and then I moved to New York with my dad. When I lived in the South, everything is very strict, and it's just, this is how it is. And you know, my mom instilled some values in me, but it was, this is just the way it is. Right. You don't really talk back. You don't, you know, if you had a thought, it was kind of disrespectful to say what you were thinking. And then my dad was much more liberal. He's like, you know, talk to us, you know, tell us what you're thinking. And then my stepmother was amazing, and she gave me all of this confidence that I never knew I could have. She gave me confidence as a woman. And as a girl, you know, to just grow up and be able to speak and speak clearly. Like, for example, sometimes she would look at me and I would say, what's wrong? And she would be like, well, why is something wrong? Because I'm looking at you. So she got me to be comfortable. With my children, I try to make sure that they are heard and understood. But what they recently told me is, I am not that parent.
Oh, okay.
I think I am. It's my husband.
The dad.
And they said, you know, because my children really were kind of, my husband kind of had to take the helm for years. Because I was in school, I was trying to chase this dream, and also it took a long time. And I commuted to Michigan for a while.
Oh, wow.
So they were home with him. And I asked them, I said, what if you guys had a fight, what do you think would happen? Right. And they said, you would say, I'm on my way, don't make a statement. Right. And Daddy would say, are you okay? Right. You know, what do you need? And I said, I don't think I would do that. And they're like, oh, like, yes, you do.
Oh, gosh.
But I said to them, you do understand that in this house you're loved. And we both have your best interests at heart. And where I may be a little bit weaker, Daddy is stronger, and vice versa. And they said, we know that. And do you feel like you can come to us? And they said, we do. You feel like you can come to either of us. I want them to have confidence. If you see who my kids walking in the garden, that's probably my kids.
Oh, okay.
They walk everywhere.
Okay, I might see them this past weekend.
They walk everywhere. And even though I'm nervous, but if my husband always says to them, I'll let you do whatever you can handle. Right. If you think you can handle it, do it. And if you don't, if you start doing it and you can't handle it, let us know. We'll take over. Because I want them to have confidence. And in our community, our children need to have confidence. They need to know that they're loved. They need to know, even if you're different, or as the kids call it, a little weird, it's okay. You know what? Because your little weirdness, somebody else loves. So you don't have to change. You can be who you are. And parents have to be accepting and loving in spite of all things.
That's true. Go ahead.